ensuring all this rare and unique content. Please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sasquatch Archives. It is your host with the most, Todd Prescott, and I have to admit I have fallen way behind on my Snag videos. That's where I feature magazines that cover the Sasquatch, Abominable Snowman, Yeti, Yowie, Skunk Ape topic. And they're so far and few between nowadays that there's not a lot, but it's been many months since I have did a video outlining these. So I'm going to do Snag number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 today. So it's all going to be in one video. And if you can see, I've got my little buddy. It's hard to see him, but my little buddy is over here. Oops, where can I point? I'm trying to find my finger. Where's my finger? Oh dear. Oh, here's my finger. It's kind of weird. So see the Sasquatch pillow? There's this black and white thing there. That's my little buddy. He's my cat, my research buddy. And he likes to hang out up here in the Sasquatch Archives. And you can see lots of stuff in the background. Unfortunately, my webcam doesn't have a zoom, but there's lots of books and magazines. And this is basically my research cave, let's say. And I'm wearing, some Sasquatch merch, you could say. First magazine we're going to look at, and I will show you more closely on the screen, but I'm going to hold these up because it's just going to be easier for me to do that. I'm going to put on my reading glasses because I'm at that age. But the first magazine is this one here, and you'll see it on the screen. It's History's Greatest Mysteries, and this one's a few months old now. And so when you look at the cover, as you can see on your screen, you don't see anything about Bigfoot. Not a single thing. Or the Abominable Snowman, Yeti, anything. So when I saw this magazine, I thought, let's pick it up and look, because I'd be surprised if there's not something about the aforementioned in History's Greatest Mysteries. But I have to be honest, there have been several occasions where I've picked up similar magazines, and there's been nothing about our favorite topic, sadly. So let's open this up, and you'll see me looking over here, because this is where my magazines are that I'm going to cover today. Looking at the table of contents, you don't see any pictures or art or illustrations concerning Bigfoot, and no mention of Bigfoot. There's mention of the Loch Ness Monster, which is probably the second most known cryptozoology creature, I'd say. I think Bigfoot's number one, in my opinion. But it says page 6 is where we're going to find 50 Greatest Mysteries, and that's where I started. I started on page 6, and you can see page 6 there, 50 Greatest Mysteries. Now, Bigfoot, to my surprise and disappointment, is found on page 11, and it's ranked number 22 on the 50 Greatest Mysteries. Yeah, not happy about that, but whatever. And if I were to flip back, and maybe I'll show you this, maybe I won't, but the Jersey Devil was previous, and I can't find it now as I'm flipping back, but oh, maybe the Jersey Devil's ahead. Maybe I'm going the wrong way here. Yeah. So Bigfoot's number 22, and I'll show you that. You can take a look there. A trader found footprints 14 inches long. They talk about the PG film, and yeah, David Thompson, 1811, which I think was probably just bear prints, but we'll never know. Yeah, here, I'm going to show you this. The Jersey Devil, the Devil's Footprints, is number 18. 4 ahead of Bigfoot, which is quite disappointing to me. The Jersey Devil, I don't know what to make of that. I firmly am of the mind that there are Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. Is there something else that looks like a goat creature? I don't know, with wings? I don't know. Loch Ness Monster is number 6. And you know what number 1 is? I'll tell you. Number 1 is Stonehenge. Should have been Bigfoot, but it is what it is. I'm going to jump. I'm not going to show you much of the magazine because I have to move quickly here to cover 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mag snags. So on page 98 and 99, you can see what we're looking at here. And this is a rehash, a repeat of the same map that was shown in another issue of this magazine. So they're recycling a lot of stuff, reusing, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. Here you can see there's some mention of Yeti, number 4, Bigfoot or Sasquatch, number 5, and Yowie gets a little bit of recognition here at number 6. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else here? Well, you can take a look there and you know, find Waldo. That's it for that magazine. Once again, History's Greatest Mysteries. It was out a few months back. Pick up a copy. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Let's go on to number 10. The next mag snag, number 10 as I'm calling it, is this magazine, Mysteries of Science. And you'll see it on the screen again. And this one looks like it came out in August, so that's how far behind I am, August of 2024. In looking at the cover, you'll see something quite familiar, a white Bigfoot. Could Yeti really exist? So once I saw that, I knew there's going to be coverage in here, thankfully. And when you open up the first page, the welcome page, there's no mention of Bigfoot or Yeti. But that's okay, because when Yeti's on the cover, there's going to be some Yeti coverage. When you turn to the TOC, otherwise known as a table of contents, you can clearly see a large illustration of a Yeti and a subtopic category here of monster mysteries. Or maybe it's a category, and then we got subcategories of the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, vampires, the Kraken, dragons, the Beast of Bodmin, and the Abominable Snowman. So there's some decent coverage here, which is nice to see. As you can see as well, there's other interesting topics covered here too. It's just a pretty good magazine, to be honest with you. Now I'm going to flip to page 26 where Monster Mysteries begin, and you can see, again, they're showing that nice illustration of a white Yeti. Probably should be a reddish brown color, but that's Hollywood for you. And you can see the Bigfoot's covered on page 28. So let's jump to that page. And not surprising, Loch Ness Monster comes before it. That damn Loch Ness Monster getting all the attention. So look at Bigfoot. There's a lot of information here. And there's the famous / infamous PG film still. The Bluff Creek film is probably a hoax, it says. I'm not sure how they can conclude that. Maybe they read the Greg Long book, The Making of Bigfoot, and that's a conclusion you can only draw really from that book. They do mention searching for Sasquatch, and they talk about how the U.S. is not the only place where you're going to find Bigfoot-like creatures. And as a matter of fact, I think it's safe to say that in Canada, there was Sasquatch recognition long before in the U.S. So it's a 2-pager here. You can see it there. You can pause it if you want to take a better look. Next page is the Chupacabra, which I won't show you. Next page is vampires, which we're not interested in here necessarily. Then the Kraken, then dragons, and the Beast of Bodmin. And then finally, as you can see, Mountain Monster, all about Yeti and Yeti's cousins. So there you have it. And that's it for that magazine, but that's decent coverage. I like that. I was happy with this magazine. It's a good addition to my collection. Let's move on. The next magazine we're going to look at took me a little bit by surprise. On my mom's side, her mom had a Scottish maiden last name, so I guess there's a little bit of Scottish in me. My last name Prescott is Irish, and then my mom's father was Dutch. And I believe that if I'm not mistaken, my dad's mom was also Scottish roots, right? This magazine is Supernatural Scotland, so it kind of caught my attention. And especially considering it said at the bottom, monsters and creatures, and you'll see that on your screen. So take a look at that cover. It looks kind of cool, enchanting, intriguing. So I did take a look at it. I wasn't crazy about the price at $24.99 in Canada. It's a bit pricey, but nowadays these magazines are like books, so I'm willing to pay that, but I wish they would go back to regular prices. So in the table of contents, or as they're calling it, the contents, you can see on page 63, monsters and creatures. Now when you look here, there's no mention of Bigfoot or the abominable snowman or Yeti. And we probably all know that Scotland in the UK is not really well known for Bigfoot-like creatures, although England seems to have something like that. But much to my surprise, when I look through that section, and I'll just jump to the page that caught my attention, page 76. On page 76, I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, to see something called the Grey Man of Ben Macdhu, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. But it says underneath that Scotland's very own Yeti lurks around the Largero Pass. And again, I'm probably butchering that. I don't know how to say those words. My apologies to anyone who's Scottish or anyone who knows. Maybe correct me and give me the phonetic, how to say it, at least, in the comments. So, this is about what they're basically saying is a Scottish Yeti. I'm trying to remember when I read this. It's been a while. But if I remember, it wasn't that clear that it was Bigfoot-like. But I'd have to take a quick look. I guess so, because they shot at a creature that was about 10 feet tall, and it was broad-shouldered and covered in short hair, brown or olive, walking upright with long arms. So yeah, I guess, yeah, that fits the description of a wild man slash Bigfoot. So yeah, I'll go with that. Just remember and I'd have to review it. There was something weird about this article that made me just really wonder what they saw. But pick up a copy of the magazine and you make that decision yourself. That's it for that magazine. Let's go on to the next one. I should add that I'm saving the best for last. The best magazine will be shown last, and it's a doozy, so stay in your seat. The next one I'm going to cover is the very well-known 14 Times magazine. This one is from March 2024, so I'm not doing these in chronological order, sequentially. I'm just grabbing them as they come. This one, on the cover, you can see it says The Wild Men of Metal. At first I thought, ooh, that must be like, crazy lead singers of bands, heavy metal bands. But no, it says mining, myths, and monsters in Germany's Ore Mountains. That caught my attention. So when you look at the table of contents, you can see there on page 36, listed the wild men and women of metal. The image of the wild man occurs across Central Europe, particularly in Germany, adorning coins and coats of arms. But why is the wilder man, and sometimes the wilder Frau, such a recurrent image in the region's folklore and heraldry, whatever that is, particularly in areas with a history of mining? Our man in Bavaria, Steve Tosi, investigates. And I know I butchered a few of the words there. Sorry. So that seemed like something interesting, because I kept seeing wild man coins from Germany from the 1700s with like a bearded wild man type figure. And there's some suggestion that wild men in Europe might be Bigfoot-like subjects. And we see that in early, at least in Canada and the US, we see that in early newspaper articles. They're describing a wild man of the woods, but it fits the description of a Bigfoot, covered in hair and very tall, large footprints. Whereas the wild man shown in Europe, they kind of look like a wild person with a beard. But it makes you wonder. So if we turn to page 36, you can see some interesting artwork here. And I'm not going to tell you too much about this. Again, I like to support magazines, and I really want you to pick up a copy of this if you're into Bigfoot and maybe a connection with wild men in Europe, and take a look. And I'll just show you a little bit of this. And there's those coins that I reference on the fourth page. And it's a lengthy article, and I think it's well written. And I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? Go out and buy a copy, or order a copy, please. And I'm going to show you the best one for last. Here we go. All right, the best for last. You'll see why this has been saved. It's All About History Guide to Cryptids. When I saw this magazine, oh boy, I got excited. This is everything you need right here. It was definitely worth the price. It's fairly new because I just picked it up a few weeks back. And you can clearly see that there's going to be a lot of coverage in here of all your favorite crypto creatures. There's that white Yeti again on the cover, and there's a little Bigfoot sticker there called Bigfoot Believers. Guide to Cryptids Seeking Out the World's Most Mysterious Monsters. And right from the welcome page, there is mention of Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, and Sasquatch. So we're at a good place right now when that happens on the welcome page. When we look at the table of contents, we have a section on page 42 of humanoids, and Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Abominable Snowman falls into that category. And you can see there, hairy ape man, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yowie, orang pandek. And further down, there's our old friend, the New Jersey Devil. Yeah, and you can see some interesting artwork there too. And if we proceed onwards, on page 8 and 9, there's our friend and very well-known researcher, Loren Coleman, who's been around for a very long time. And there's a cryptid classification section there. Talks about Bigfoot, Yeti, orang pandek, and everything else that you need to know. I don't agree with what they're saying here under 7. Animals not known from the fossil record, nor related to any known. I think Bigfoot's a hominid, and we have hominid fossils, so how is it not related to any known? I don't get that. But I'm just postulating, but I think they're hominids. And the next page, we have a more coverage of our friend Loren Coleman, the International Cryptozoology Museum. We got a little thing with Bernard Heuvelmans there. Some call him the father of cryptozoology. And, well, you can see there's lots of stuff here. Monster museums around the globe. Let's go to the next page that talks about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and that would be page 18 and 19. The Hunt for Strange Beasts. And they have 5 most wanted cryptids. Bigfoot is halfway down in the middle, and Yeti's below that. I'll give you a second here to look at those pages. Take it in. But again, please buy this issue. It's great. If you don't support them, then they won't last. Now, the next section that talks about Bigfoot is on page 22 and 23. It's Monster Myths Busted. And there's our friend Bigfoot there. It's talking about Nessie and the Kraken, werewolves, goat suckers, vampires. But on page 28 and 29, it does cover our good friend Bigfoot and Yowie and the Abominable Snowman. Huge, hairy humanoids. Australia's bush monster, the Abominable Snowman, and the legend of Bigfoot. Beautiful. Check it out. Then the next part that covers Bigfoot is the world of hoaxes. And we got some coverage here. You can see there, while the original, and look at wow, look at closely, wow is spelled wrong with 2 eyes. Who was the editor? While the original Bigfoot tracks have been proven a hoax, others are considered genuine. Well, I would not fully agree with that. I'm not sure that the original Bigfoot tracks were proven a hoax. Well, I'd say they weren't proven a hoax. They have not been proven a hoax. And plus, the Jerry Crew Bigfoot footprints were not the Jerry Crew Bigfoot footprints were not the first Bigfoot prints. There were ones prior to that. For instance, River Creek, and there was another set of prints found before that too. But I do think there's a mix of real and fake Bigfoot footprints, maybe going back to that time period. So, of course, they're going to mention Ray Wallace in here. And that starts, I think, on page 39. I think they mentioned Wallace there. And they mention... they do mention Wallace there. They mention Rick Dyer and Matthew Whitten, which, if you know anything about the Georgia Bigfoot body hoax, they were involved with that. They talk about the Patterson-Gimlin film. Recorded in 1967, this short piece of film, captured by Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin, reportedly depicts a female Bigfoot walking by Bluff Creek in Northern California. While both men maintain the footage's authenticity, its legitimacy has been constantly called into question, with many believing that the iconic sighting is little more than a human in an ape suit. That's true. Many do believe that, while others believe that it's legit. Hopefully one day we get to the bottom of that. There's the Minnesota Iceman there too on the previous page. And if we go further, there's a lot here. There's a lot. Humanoids, page 42. So, Bigfoot in a truck. Interesting. We've got, Hairy Ape Man, Hunt for the Abominable Snowman, New Jersey Devil, Wendigo, Cold-Blooded Half Men. So right away it gets into Bigfoot. It's nice to see that. Lots of coverage here for a magazine that's got so much in it. It says that Bigfoot was first sighted in 1830s. Location was California. I'm not sure I agree with that. Likelihood of existence, jury's still out. I agree with that. Physical description, hairy biped, hominid, hybrid, humanoid. Yeah, something like that. And we flip the page. There's a lot here, and it covers quite a bit. There's good old Grover Krantz, and there's the Willow Creek China Flats Museum, and there's more. The Hunt for Bigfoot USA talks about the BFRO. Love them or hate them, they've done a lot for our awareness of Sasquatch and all the sightings that go along with it. And there's another page here, including stuff on the Minnesota Iceman and the Wild Man of Navidad. And we talk about Sasquatch too, which is fantastic because we always need to recognize this, that it's not just called Bigfoot. And one last page, and this is where this part I really like. This may be one of the first magazines, if not only magazines, that gives credence and coverage, reverence, to the four horsemen of Sasquatchery. I'm not sure I like that name, Sasquatchery. But they talk about Peter Byrne, Renee DeHinden, John Green, and Grover Krantz, all of whom have passed away. But they give a little blurb about each one, so have a look at that. That was nice of them to do that. So whoever put this piece together did their homework. And I'm not sure that it mentions who did this, but kudos to you, whoever you are. Then we have some coverage on the Yowie, Australia's Bigfoot, which goes way back in time. Next page is the Orang Pendek, which is a smaller hominid. Then the Abominable Snowman. Hunt for the Abominable Snowman. And I recognize this artwork from another issue of this magazine. Again, they are rehashing, recycling. Nothing wrong with that. So there's a few pages about the Abominable Snowman / Yeti. Then it gets into the Mothman and other stuff that is quite strange. I think, an Owl Man too. So New Jersey Devil, of course, looking like a flying goat. The Pope Lick Monster, which is another weird creature. The Wendigo, which I'm not sure what to think of that. Sea Maidens. Cold-Blooded Half Men. So we've got the Loveland Frog, Lizard Man of Skateboard Swamp, New Jersey Gator Man. Some weird things that people have seen. So there you go. Guide to Cryptids. My favorite. Saved it for last. Pick up some of these magazines, if not all of them, and add them to your collection. Support magazines. They're a wonderful thing. And have yourself a great day. There was Mag Snag 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, if I count it right. Stay tuned for more great stuff, and thanks for your support. Take care. Bye.
If you're enjoying all this rare and unique content, please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.